My boss got mad I let a coworker vent, so I stopped making work fun.
Don't be that person.
My job performance is exceptional. I meet every necessary mark 100% of the time, and I've done so over the last 10 years. Maybe an odd month or two in there due to travel and things that would make it impossible. I've also stepped up and carried the load for coworkers when things have come up to ensure our area isn't dinged for performance issues. Clients get along well with me. I've never had a complaint filed against me, etc. You get the idea. By the way, this comes from Preference Afraid, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I also am known to do all the holiday decorating, coordinating the gifts for office celebrations, baking the desserts, writing formal thank yous from our department, and making holiday baskets to help maintain positive relationships with the other agencies we work with. A couple months back, there was a policy change, and none of us were happy about it. I made the best of a bad situation and adapted to the change immediately. My coworkers did as well, but they all called me to complain and vent. This is normal. We tend to complain amongst ourselves for one good witch session and then just, it is what it is, and continue to work hard and not complain again. Here's where the issue is. While one of my coworkers was venting, my boss was eavesdropping selectively on my side of the conversation, as that's what he could hear. I was commiserating with them, but also pointing out how it wouldn't be that bad, it's in our contract, how we can make it fun, less obnoxious. We hung up, and I didn't think about it further, especially since neither of us really said anything that you wouldn't expect an employee to say with the kind of change they're wanting. It was pretty dang tame. I didn't think anything about it again until my boss called me in a few days later to do an employee evaluation in response to it. In every review I've had here, I've always hit the exceed expectations in nearly every category. He got me down to meets expectations on everything. He reamed me for my attitude, for not cutting my coworker off and letting them vent. You think that OP would continue to be liked in that office if someone came to her and was like, oh, this is so annoying that we have to do this? She said, hey, don't talk about boss that way.
Don't do that.
Don't talk about work that way.
You know what? It has to be positive.
Grateful.
If it's not positive, not allowed.
God, no one would like her. Telling me I should have told them to call him. Is this man never worked for anyone else? Has he never had a job that he wasn't the boss of?
Has he never vented?
Yeah, wow. He accused me of being negative, a negative influence, and that if he didn't nip it in the bud now, it could fester and create a toxic work environment. I was and still am pretty pissed about it. Coworkers should be allowed to vent to each other without it being treated like this. After this, as you may have guessed, I'm just not in the mood to head up everything extra I've been doing to make the office environment fun. I keep my door closed when he's here. I didn't bring dessert for the March birthday lunch. That lunch isn't mandatory, but I didn't want more problems, so I went and just sat quietly the entire time. Now there's another appreciation week and month for one of the departments we work with, and there's been an email chain about cards and gifts, and I've responded the amount I'll put towards it and asked who I should send it to. People are noticing I'm not picking this stuff up, and that chain has gone in circles for days now, and I'm not budging. I've had one person approach about it, and I just said I don't have the time to take it on right now. I guess I'm feeling like all the crap I did on the regular to foster a positive work environment got thrown out or was never appreciated because I lent an ear to a coworker and then got viciously reprimanded for it. Like, what's the point if 10 years of going out of my way gets thrown out just like that? Am I the a-hole for just quietly stepping out of all these extras due to my feelings on how this was handled? Am I being overly petty? Canvas Shoes says not the a-hole, the boss, as the kids call it. Effed around and found out. Venting is typically a positive and necessary thing as long as it's handled appropriately. And it sounds as if you were that appropriate bottleneck and sounding board. He was extremely stupid to have not allowed you to explain the situation to him. Stand your ground, just keep it light, sweet, and my workload is preventing me from keeping up with those extra tasks about it all. Opie says thank you. I did try to explain it to him when he was marking me down. The real irony is he's sitting there calling me a potential negative toxic presence that was going to ruin team morale the day after I had just handed out handmade Valentines to my other teammates. This person says, I agree with you and absolutely would be hurt in this aspect of having an evaluation weaponized against you. He is toxic management. His actions are going to damage morale more than providing a sympathetic ear will ever do. He, boss, is going to try and flip this on you. Now that you're not doing the extras that did brighten up your coworkers' days, he may try and come back and use this against you. Do you have a way to formally dispute the evaluation? Can you speak with HR? He is out of line, punishing an employee for listening to someone else vent about the workplace. Venting is healthy. Gets things out in the open so work can continue. I think you need to vent to someone higher on the food chain that can wrangle him in. OP said this one isn't the annual, so it doesn't really count towards anything that could impact pay or raises. If my next one goes like this, I will be taking it above him. At that point, I will potentially impact my earnings, and I refuse to get docked pay when I do so much. And OP says, I love this job. It's a good one and one of the few that still has a union. He wouldn't be able to terminate me unless I actually did something crazy or consistently not met my matrix. And someone asks, can you talk to your union rep? OP says I could, but I'm holding off unless he tries to take it further than this. My actual review is up in a few months, and if that goes like this again with how good my performance is, I will be. Which I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But there is an update 3 days later.
I think I agree with you not being appreciated, and like, is this really affecting your boss if you're not doing this morality, like all the stuff that you're doing?
I think, for example, it's like if you work at a job and you know, you are staying overtime to sweep or clean things.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you're doing all this extra work that you're not being paid for. And then your boss comes in and says, like, you suck and you did all this stuff wrong.
Oh,
and you go,
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not being paid for all this extra work.
I don't have to do this. Yeah, it's the thing of like, you go above and beyond.
But there is an update 3 days later. There was an event that usually requires someone to head up the card, gift, staff, coordination things. I had told the team and my boss several weeks in advance this event was pending and I wouldn't be free. No one did anything until the day before, and then one of them called me to ask that I do all the legwork. I declined, citing that I just did not have the time, which was/is true. My higher-ups cornered me on this a few days later, stating that I've been pulling away, teamwork makes the dream work, etc., and citing this event as evidence. They also cited me being on my phone during unofficial mandatory fun times as further evidence of drawing back. I told them that I had given everyone, boss included, weeks of notice that the event was coming up, and I wouldn't be able to head it. I pointed out that I'm still helping the team with tasks directly relevant to my work, but with my current caseload, I just couldn't afford to allocate time to the social event planning right now. As for the mandatory fun, I reminded them that I often don't get lunch breaks due to community meetings that get held at those hours and my having to flex out early on those days. So having to lose out on a good break on a day I don't have to is burning me out. They fumbled around for about 30 minutes trying to convince me, and I just held firm that with my current caseload, I don't have time to allocate non-essentials. I was told I'm allowed to prioritize my breaks. I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to attend the community meetings recently. And honestly, this might be another thing I end up cutting back on in the long run. Overall, it came across like they're panicked I'm considering leaving. Then maybe they should appreciate you.
Ruh-roh, yeah.
There was comment about that concern, and I let them know I'm not planning on leaving, but I am taking time to restructure my priorities now that my caseload has increased. And there are some comments, which I'll read. Someone asks about OP's pay. I'm not underpaid. I'm compensated fairly. This is a job worth writing out frustration for. Policy change was to make some non-traditional hours with stipulations mandatory. I'm sure once the changes inevitably result with problems during standard business hours, they'll eventually reconsider the stupid short-sighted Band-Aid fix. And OP says about what her work is, the nature of my work is emotionally draining. You could describe the relationships with coworker as trauma bonded at times. I do not have it in me at the end of my 40 hours to do more of what I do at work for no pay. I know that sounds awful, but I need my non-work hours to spend time with friends, family, pets, hobbies. I can't serve from an empty vessel. I know everyone's saying quit, but that's realistically not a solution for me. I love the work I do. I find large areas of it to be incredibly fulfilling. I'm having a positive impact on my community. I know that I bring a personal history that allows me to be somewhat good at what I do. I'm not sure they'd be able to easily find another me, and that's unfortunately what the clients on my caseload need. Beyond that, however, I enjoy coming into work at least 90% of the time. I know I wouldn't be able to find another job that checks all the boxes this one does, especially not where I live. Asleep Republic says, not the a-hole, but seriously, weren't you overdoing it? Do your work, enjoy your time. OP says, I never work over 40 hours. My hours end and I walk right out the door and I leave the work phone there too. I don't think I was overdoing it, just making sure I was covering those that will cover me when things come up. It's not even a weekly occurrence, and they always reciprocate. I still plan on helping cover what needs coverage in regards to things relevant to the job, just not the cards or party planning stuff due to the way I'm feeling about things right now. And OP also says, I have zero desire to be promoted. I left a managerial position where I ran 3 programs to do this job. Less work, more pay, less responsibility. Not everyone fantasizes about job titles. And OP says how she works. I am very detail-oriented, organized, and efficient to a fault. A lot of stuff I do simply because I feel guilty for having free time at work. I could probably complete my entire job functions each week in like 20 hours if it was allowed. I've always been like this. I probably have some kind of disorder. I'm just as bad at home. My husband has told me that I complete more in the time between waking and getting to work than a lot of people manage in an entire day. The job I left for this one had to hire more than one person to replace me, but training was probably easy because I wrote a guide on what needed to be done daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually, and gave them my spreadsheets. I know if I reached out to that previous job, they'd snap me up in an instant, but their pay and benefits are crap. And anything about the boss update-wise? OP says no, hate to disappoint. The thing is, he's a pretty decent boss most of the time. I think that's why I was so shocked about this whole situation. We don't have a lot of non-mandatory, mandatory fun stuff in our office, so I guess there haven't been many opportunities. I'm holding strong to just not heading it up. I'm doing my job, and that's about it. My coworkers haven't reached out at all this week, so I think they're processing how to approach my sudden weirdness and distance. And there is a final update. But any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're finally seeing how much you do.
Yeah, they're like, wait, why aren't you helping it? No, wait. Should have been more, appreciative. Annual performance evaluation is in, and it's just as dismal as the retaliatory one. I've declined signing it without discussion, and I've contacted my union. This feels like punitive retaliation if they can't justify the decreases despite my consistent quality performance. I will be quiet quitting everything that's not a core job function, as continuing to do so will feel like chasing an unattainable metric. By the way, you should chase more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a third update, actually, 6.5 months later.
That's crazy. That,
oh my goodness.
That they're just like, you are still doing what you need to be doing.
You're literally doing your job. You're just not doing extra work for free. They cannot mark you down for not doing free extra work. Union advised that technically the review is valid as they're going by the letter of the set parameters, and boss advised that since I meet my deadlines and quotas, it's valid. I've gone the route of quiet quitting. Nothing outside the minimum to meet expectations, so my raises aren't impacted. I've called in sick a few days. There was non-mandatory but unspoken mandatory fun. I've ceased community outreach so that I'm not missing my breaks. Coworkers are aware there was unjust retaliation. More changes have come that impact management. Boss is talking about taking a job with less of a commute. I know I'll be encouraged to apply for their position. All I'm going to do when that happens is laugh. And that is the end of that story. But yeah, good on you, OP. That is completely unfair. You did so much, and the fact that they literally, affected your pay.
They're never going to apologize.
Yeah, no.
A man at my office keeps blocking the door, so I reported him.
Let me out!
There's this guy, 50s, who works at a different company in the same business building as my company, who blocks the doorway. He does this by leaning against one side and extending his arm out across it if a woman happens to be arriving at a doorway at the same time as him.
Yeah, report that.
He never says anything. He just does this eye contact smile thing for maybe 3 seconds and then allows us to go through. Ew!
Hate that.
By the way, this comes from user throwaway non-sec. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, unfortunately. We only know what we do. So, let us know what you do in the comments, pretty please. Today, it was finally my turn. I got to the main building door right after him, so instead of holding it open, so it didn't close in my face like most people do, he just held it open and stood there with a smug smile. It makes me nervous. I go, can I please enter the building? I need to clock in. And he does this whole, wow, geez, fine, sorry, before stepping aside, still holding the door open for me. So I said, stop doing that. We all hate it.
Nice.
And I just went in. As soon as I turned the corner from the lobby, I half ran to the stairwell so I wouldn't have to share the elevator with him. I don't even know what firm he works for. Does he even work there?
Yeah, does he even work here?
According to my closest coworker, HR won't do anything because he's not an employee?
Well, then why is he in the building?
Do we have security?
Yeah, can we get security in the building?
And there's a little update. A male colleague helped us figure out which company he works for by following him up the elevator, coming back from lunch. It's a law office on a higher floor. Another coworker took one of your suggestions and wrote an email to the building's management office. I went to my department manager and carefully asked if this sort of thing were to happen, would I report it to our own HR? He said it should be at least on record, even though if it's hard to prove, which made me give him the fry eyes. If you know, you know. And
I do know.
We know. I went back and typed up an email and sent it, CC'd him, and BCC'd other women that I've specifically seen or heard deal with him. If he thought I was being hypothetical, now he knows I wasn't. The colleague who followed him to the office joked that we should hand draw flyers of him to warn people and put them in the elevators.
I love that.
It's very The Office-esque.
Yes.
Yeah. And we have an update. Yesterday was a long day for me. I came in early to make up for lost time, spent focusing on this BS, and not to avoid the Noid. Although someone ran into him in the afternoon and went straight to our manager and said he's still doing it. So as far as yesterday, not much has changed. It has only been a day. Who does he look like? I got this question more than once, so I asked around what celebrity did we think he most resembles, and we all agreed he looks like the jump to conclusions guy from the movie Office Space.
I'm looking that up.
It's effing true. No way. The actor's probably really lovely, but he played a very persistent and annoying character. But except for that character, to give you an image, he's a lot taller. He's over 6 feet at least. Thank you so much for all your support and suggestions. I've never been advised about pepper spray so much. I do carry it, but the one time I had to use it, it got in my eyes too. So it's become more of a last resort tool. I told everyone in the bullpen about whipping out our phones and taking a pic or video, including people who happened to notice from a distance. In the moment, I think a lot of us kind of freeze up. I mean, I did. So having a plan of action ahead of time really helps. I took one person's suggestion about wearing huge headphones. The theory is that because people who wear those are in their own little world, it's acceptable to show no concern, which makes attention seekers feel less significant. So I wore my headphones today and got here at my normal time, but no one was hanging around the main entrance. Not sure if that's because of the email or not. It's probably too early to hear of any official steps taken. But I did feel kind of young and cool on the light rail. Way more comfy than my AirPods. One person DM'd me the song De Todo Un Poco from Dirty Dancing and said next time someone should cue it up on their phone, blast it, and start a limbo line. All genders welcome. Several folks asked about what I wrote in the email. So here's a copy-paste of it, with identifying details omitted or changed. I'll post another update when more happens, hopefully today. I keep rereading the email, and my stomach has been flipping over and over like I'm a kid about to get in a huge trouble. And here's the email. Are we ready?
Yes.
To HR department at the law offices of blank and blank. I am writing on behalf of myself and several employees at call center company located on the 3rd floor of our shared building to inform you about some workplace intimidation we have been experiencing. For several weeks now, an employee at your firm has been intentionally intimidating women by interrupting their path of travel to and from our offices by blocking the doorway with his body in order to force an interaction. He will not move aside until some kind of verbal exchange has happened. He only does this with women, as far as we've observed and documented, which makes us all inclined to call this spicy-related intimidation. This behavior is, of course, unacceptable. This individual creates a very uncomfortable work environment despite being in different organizations on different floors. He will often be the first interaction of the day, as he seems to linger around the main building lobby and entrance in the mornings. He will also do this with the elevator doors by stalling them from closing or blocking access to the button panel. This has been setting a tone that interferes with having a secure working experience. Many of us have made multiple attempts to address the issue with this person directly. We are requesting that your firm take immediate action to investigate and address this issue. This has already been discussed with our department manager and HR department, and they are looking forward to hearing from yours. I've CC'd them on this email, as well as the Blah Blah Plaza building manager. It is fair to assume that with 6 different organizations sharing the same building, our employees are not the only ones experiencing this. Please inform us when call center company can expect to see the results of your investigation and what measures will be taken to ensure that this type of behavior does not happen again in the future. We hope that this issue can be resolved quickly and that appropriate actions will be taken to ensure that all employees working in Blah Blah Plaza feel safe and respected as we all make our way to and from our offices. Sincerely, with gratitude. Okay, I have to get back to work. I will keep updating. And we have a second update.
Email.
That's a
solid email.
You covered all bases.
10 out of 10. Really good email.
And you know what? Professional too.
Yeah, sounded very nice.
Amazing. You
Good
should,
job.
yeah.
Let's see if it worked.
And we have a second update. Oh boy. I've never gotten this much traffic from a post before, mostly in a positive way from all the support and suggestions and input and reminders I've gotten over the last several days. So many comments helped me turn my anger into power. I've been riding a high from them and from that email. I've never done anything like that before, and I'm so appreciative of all the support and validation that I did the right thing. Here's how the week's been going. Monday. No one saw the Noid, which is what I've been calling him. Funny. I've arrived 15 minutes early just in case. I was afraid he would confront me, angry, because he'd gotten in trouble. But no. Lobby was empty, and I was the first person to arrive at the office that day. When I was in the break room at one point, a colleague who sits in the bullpen near me said this is the first time in months she hasn't had to deal with him some way or another. Tuesday. Still no Noid sightings. I asked around. I haven't seen his car in the lot. Did he get fired?
I hope so.
It was super busy that day, and I was pretty much glued to my desk. So I didn't have time to meet with my manager or anything, besides shooting him a quick, "Hey, any response?" via Teams before I left for the day. I didn't want to be pushy, but really wanted to know. Yesterday was Wednesday. Mid-morning, a few women, including myself, were asked to meet with HR separately. Ooh. Okay. Maybe he was asked to stay home and, let's investigate. I learned that the law offices of blank and blank's HR rep emailed a response to my email directly to them and my manager on Monday without CCing me on it. This made me feel some kind of way, but whatever. The Noid is not an attorney, but a paralegal, and he's on voluntary leave for the week.
Good, nice. Get him out of there. Maybe let's make that full leave.
I picked that up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I asked if the response email could be forwarded to me, but I was told that the policy prevents HR from disclosing any disciplinary actions that might have been taken against him. Then I had to write a short statement describing my specific encounter. I hate how in words it doesn't look like a big deal, but I was assured that it is. And it is a big deal.
It's a very big deal.
Don't let anyone say this wasn't a big deal. A bunch of us went out for drinks after work, and I got to hear what others wrote in their statements, like how he sometimes followed them to their cars, trying to talk to them.
Creepy.
Or how he would stand in the elevator doors, preventing them from closing until they heard please. Just ew. And you'd make me go ew if you didn't listen to full episodes with stories just like this by going to your favorite podcast app, such as Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever that may be, and looking up OK Storytime.
Not doing that would be you.
Yeah, that'd be ill. There's a little bit left, but
good job.
You're the
10 out of
trendsetter.
10. Yeah, that's amazing, OP. I mean, it takes so much work and so much bravery to stand up to people like this, and you did it. And look how it already has, seen or caused change, and you've already heard from other people that they feel safer, that they haven't had those interactions?
I mean, obviously he was an obstacle, but you took away that obstacle and that gross feeling of coming to work. I guarantee you people dreaded coming to work because of him.
Yeah, so great job.
Good job, OP. Today, Thursday, I just got here and still no Noid. We were all passing away to know what happened. If he got fired or maybe transferred or whatever. No one has been told anything except that he chose to take some days off. Maybe this is the law office protecting themselves? I don't know. The thing I'm most afraid of is if he comes back. Will he be hostile or retaliate in some way? And I'll have to be brave again and report it. I wish we had a spy in their offices. I'm sorry I don't have more for you. It's kind of anticlimactic, I know. I promise if I get to know what actually happened to him, I will let you all know. Or if he reappears, I will loop y'all in. And edit to add in, I'm getting a frame for that email for my apartment. And that's the end of that story. I'm hoping he's never coming back.
I hope so too. I'm going to choose to believe that he's never coming back.
Good on you, OP.
Yeah.
And if he does come back, I mean, hopefully he doesn't, but you got so many people to back you up. You got everything in your power.
Oh, yeah.
You got
You're
the
good.
building backing you up. You got the law offices backing you up.
You got it.
Yeah.